Matt, transfer deadline day is out the way. Harry Smith was the first edition of the day. Talk to us a little bit about why Harry Smith was someone you wanted to bring to the club.
We've had to sign him several times in the past. A player we've played against for several years now. A player we've admired, player we've liked his game, a certain type of centre forward, almost a throwback to an old school number 9, physical presence, outstanding in the air, will score goals from crosses if we provide the right service. As soon as he became available and an option, we wanted to move towards that. Luckily I didn't have to sell ourselves and the club to him, because I tried to do that this time round last year. Unfortunately missed out to later on at that stage, but already was partly a connection and relationship from that presentation 12 months ago. So he knew what we're about, he knew what I'm about, he knows what to expect from the football club. He's going to come in and hit the ground running in terms of the impact he has on the squad, because he's something different to what we've currently got.
Obviously he's 6'5", he's probably that height that we perhaps don't have at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, we look at our centre forwards of recent years. Bowman was a good size, Fisher was a good size, Stockley was obviously outstanding in the air. Since those players have departed, we've not had that profile of the extra bit of height, the extra jump height, being able to meet the ball in certain areas of the pitch, be as important in our box as he is in the opposition box, a platform for the team to play off if we need to go a little bit more direct at times. And obviously, like we spoke about, the balance of that front unit is what we've been working towards, and his addition really gives us another option at the top of the pitch.
And his record speaks for itself, 15 goals in League Two last season.
Yeah, he scores goals. If he gets game time, generally he scores goals. Not only if he gets game time, if he gets the right service. So hopefully he understands that we create chances as a team. If we're playing well, we get balls in the box. He'll thrive off balls in the box. He's actually got better legs and better feet than people give him credit for. Remember when we first played against him at Macclesfield, he ran us as much as he beat us up. So he's got different assets to his game, and he's got quite clean feet as well. So we're looking forward to working with him. We'll assess his character and his personality as he spends more time with ourselves, and we'll build him into not just a selectable player, but a real asset for ourselves.
And he's of course someone who's already played plenty of games for Leyton Orient already this season, so he's not someone that you'll need to get match fit.
Yeah, he had a bit of an injury a few weeks ago. I think he got his first 90 minutes on Tuesday in the Papa John's Trophy, so he'd had a bit of a niggle, which meant he made him miss a few weeks of their start of the season. So he's probably not as fit as he would have liked, but he's getting sharper and sharper. It's not a long-term injury, and realistically, in terms of where our front line is at the moment, he's supplementing that front line and those options at the top of the pitch. And with Nombe and Brown and obviously Smith coming into the football club, we're excited of what we can achieve there.
And of course he's taken a step up this season from League 2 into League 1, so it's going to be a test for Harry as well.
Yeah, a test, an opportunity, a challenge. He won't have played in a team like ourselves, a team which hopefully will support him. We'll expect him to do everything he possibly can to give the team the most amount of help in terms of his game, his out of possession game, his hold up play, his physicality. Like I said, I can't hide the fact we're looking forward to seeing how a different profile affects the opposition in a different way. Every team's got to have a different option at different stages, and we know what we look like at our fluid best, and that is getting balls in the opposition box, and that might be tomorrow, and he obviously might have an impact in terms of that game. But he's got to compete for his shirt, and obviously it puts more pressure, more competition in all those positions.
Moving on to the second edition, Jay Stansfield on loan from Fulham. I know he's someone you've been trying to finally get here all summer. We finally managed to get it through last night. Yeah,
I spoke to Jay back in June. Look, it's been on the cards for an awfully long time, and I'm delighted it's finally happened. We had to stay as patient as we possibly could. We were just reliant on Fulham bringing in their targets at the top of the pitch. They managed to do that at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock last night when the paperwork could be done, and we felt it was the right thing to do to wait for Jay. He'd been patient as well in relation to what has happened with him this season. The initial conversations were really positive, but in terms of Fulham's situation, they hadn't brought in any attacking players, so he actually had a really strong pre-season with Fulham, and then got his opportunity in the Premier League, and it was fantastic to see him make his debut and contribute to their good start to their Premiership campaign. But we were still waiting for that opportunity for him to come to the football club, and I'm so delighted that we were able to make that happen late on last night. I've been fielding so many questions for the last few months, knowing that we almost had this one as close to, if not in the bag, as soon as Fulham could bring in those players. So it allowed us to target other profiles. We spoke about Harry Smith in terms of the secondary striker and the second option bringing into the football club, because we knew that if we landed Jay, that we'd have exactly what we wanted.
It's back where it all began for Jay, and there's the obvious story surrounding his dad, but first and foremost, this is a move that will enhance and improve Jay's career as a professional footballer.
Yeah, you separate everything. He's coming here for footballing reasons. He's probably coming here because he knows our reputation and our record in terms of developing young players. He's a young player. He's still making his way in the game. He's still learning his game. He's not played a whole host of men's football games, despite his Premier League and Championship experience, and being at a football club like Fulham. So we've got to try and help him, try and nurture him, try and develop him as best we can. He'll learn a lot about himself as much as ourselves in terms of the next few weeks and the next few months, and how he handles the rigours of the consistent and the rhythm of men's football. And League One is different to Premier League football. It's a lot messier, it's not as clean as the top level, but his game can certainly adapt, and he's scored goals throughout his academy time. That's why he got the move from ourselves to Fulham in the first place. He's carried on that goal scoring form fantastically well for Fulham in their 21s and 23s and their reserve team, and shown signs of that at first team level. So a player we've known and loved for a long time. Obviously there's a fantastic affiliation with the family as well, one for the fans to get excited about, but first and foremost, like you touched upon, he's coming here for footballing reasons. Everything which goes alongside that will be the personal aspect, which is so personal on the back of what happened all those years ago with his father, and we'll support him through that. When I spoke to him in June, as much as I was trying to sell the club in terms of those footballing aspects, a lot of it was about the feel of this move, and he had to be comfortable with that, and I had to be comfortable with him being understanding of what to expect, whether that's MK Dons tomorrow moving forward in terms of the fans and the publicity and the extra attention he gets. There's a lot of memories in there, some good, some bad, and hopefully, like I said, we can support him through that.
We've of course seen him starting in the Premier League for Fulham in the season. I think he had an assist inside 30 seconds. If he scored that goal, this could all have been very different. It
could, but he's performed well at Fulham, and full credit to them first and foremost, because they still wanted him to go out and get consistent game time, and that's the opportunity he has here. He had some fantastic players in front of him at Fulham, international players and players of a different ilk. For a young player who's still learning his game, like we spoke about, it's hard to get in front of him and stay in front of him, but he's been really positive with his performances, and he's raised his game to Premier League level, and now he's got to raise his game to another level to be a better player for the level for ourselves. We know what we're striving to do in terms of this team and this group we've got now at the end of this transfer window. And Jay's going to be a big part of that. We know exactly what we're getting in terms of his character and his personality. And before the name is there's a lovable character and a lovable will in terms of his game, which I'm sure we'll appreciate as time goes on. But also in terms of what he knows about ourselves as a coaching unit. I think Dan Green, he was in one of his first teams with Dan Green, so he knows him for an awfully long time. He knows Wayne Carlisle, he knows myself, he'll know some of the players as well. So it's almost a bit of a homecoming. But we have got to put that aside and be as professional as we can going into the weekend.
You mentioned the options that Harry Smith will give us. This is almost, with Sam Nombe, then a third different attacking option, allowing us to play in different ways and adapt to what we may be up against in League One.
Yeah, the way I'd describe it is probably 3 out-and-out number 9s, all have different attributes, all have different strength sets. Obviously Sam's a bulldozing type, the raw, the physical profile. Harry Smith's the taller profile, the one who will meet the crosses, and Jay's the busy player, a bit of a mover, a bit of a jinker, all endeavour and an outstanding finisher. So a great combination. If you could clone them all together, we'd have an outstanding player. But 3 really good options, and then you've got the secondary group, who are the ones who almost play slightly off the opposition back line, the Giovanni Browns, the Matt Jays of the world. I'm really pleased with where we are in terms of that front line. But now we've got to have a team behind that who gives them good service and provides them with the right ball, which complements their game. There's no point in us bringing these profiles into the football club if we don't get the right ball into them or around them or give them the right opportunities. History would suggest that we create chances as a football club, and we have done over a number of seasons. Despite us going into the new league, it still looks like we're a team who creates chances. So, most centre forwards, if they get on the top of their game, they score goals for ourselves. You look back at Ryan Bowman had his best goal scoring seasons with ourselves. MJ's had a really good goal scoring seasons the past couple of years. James Stockley before that. Even go back to Curtin, Dave Wheeler, plays like that. If we get them the right service and they're good enough, they'll score goals for this football club.
Last one, Jay, you mentioned the number 9 shirt there. It's worth mentioning Jay has chosen to take that number 9 shirt worn by his father, which it's something that he has chosen to do.
Yeah, and it means so much. look, we can't put into words how much that will mean to Jay and his family, and we won't have the feelings they will have towards it. So that's something which hopefully will stay quite private with himself and his family. Like I say, we'll support him when he needs the support, we'll encourage him when he needs encouragement, and I think tomorrow might be an emotional day in many ways, and moving forward there's going to be lots of those moments as the season progresses. His first appearance, first time he pulls on the shirt, his first goal, so much to look forward to, but that does mean something to Jay, and he's made that decision, and we certainly support that decision.
Moving on to outgoings, Josh Coley has joined Harrogate Town on loan for the rest of the season, but has also signed a contract extension. So is that very much game time, but also a commitment for later in his career?
Yeah, we're invested in Josh. He had a disjointed season last season on the back of his injury to start with, and he couldn't quite get that rhythm in game time. He wanted to fine-tune his game, which he needs. He needs to have the opportunity just to be on that football pitch and keep learning about himself in professional football. Now we've got promoted and we've gone up a level. It's almost harder for him to do, certainly in the formation of the system we've got at the moment. So in order for him to improve as a player and for our benefit next season, we felt it was the right thing to do for Josh to go out on loan. Harrogate have admired him for a long time and obviously tried to sign him when we actually got him in the building first time round. So they know about his game, they know what to expect in relation to that, and we're looking forward to watching that from afar, almost taking a back seat, but still communicating with Josh, communicating with Harrogate, supporting him through anything he gets in that loan capacity, but hopefully he gets a fantastic opportunity, and then it'll be down to him to take that opportunity and to make sure he gets a shirt at Harrogate and keeps a shirt and starts performing well. And the contract for ourselves is a bit of security for the football club, but also for Josh as well. When we signed him, it was a long-term investment, and we still see it at that, but circumstances almost dictated that he needs to go away from ourselves for a certain amount of time just to get that game time he needs.
And it's a move that works for Josh as well, as he has family up in York, so it certainly works for him location-wise. Yeah,
location, we kind of use that word and that phrase when we speak about recruitment, and it does play a part, and the fact that he's got a support network already in and around the area, but also the fact that Harrogate tried to sign him previously suggests it's the right place for him to go and develop, and to continue his footballing journey and his pathway. They knew him from the National League, from when Harrogate were in the National League and they played against Maidenhead. So it's important managers recruit players that they know a little bit about, and there's already a bit of a connection there, and they know what to expect. So we're looking forward to seeing how that pans out. Hopefully he'll have success at League 2 level and come back to ourselves in a better position than what he is right now.
And we've already seen the benefit that these loans can have for players. Jack Sparks obviously went to Torquay last season, came back a much better player and is now one of the first names on the team sheet, so hopefully that's something that we'll see with Josh as well.
Yeah, Jack's situation was a little bit different because he was already a first team player. He'd had that horrendous injury for his first away game of the season at Leyton Orient, so that was just to get him up to speed in the middle of the season where we couldn't quite get reserved game football into him, and he needed 3 or 4 games of fitness and match sharpness. Josh Coley's slightly different because he's now in a position where he's been fully fit for a period of time. He's not quite had the opportunities he would have wanted with ourselves or needed with ourselves, and for his game to go to the level which we require, he needs to go out and play football, and we hope it works well for all parties, and most importantly for Josh first and foremost, and then for ourselves potentially next season. Still an exciting player. I think the fans would agree that we've seen so many good bits with Josh. We just need to iron out other aspects of his game and clean up other aspects of his game. He's certainly still an exciting talent, and like I say, we're looking forward to already this time in 12 months time when he comes back with ourselves.
The second outgoing, Alfie Pond, an undisclosed fee move to Wolves. It's the latest product of the Academy's production line, a really proud moment for the football club, but most importantly for Alfie as well.
Yeah, Premier League move, speaks volumes for what we've done at this football club for a number of seasons now, and we were patient with this window in relation to Alfie. We had frustrations at a certain time because we knew that if we could get him on the pitch and showcase his skills, then other clubs would come to the table. They've done that on the back of two league games for Yeovil, which we had to push through as much as we could because we felt football would give him the best chance of his best move, and ultimately we've been proved right in relation to that. Fantastic financial reward for the football club, absolutely incredible for a player who's not really put on a first team jersey, but another sign that the Academy is doing things the right way and their success story, and then the transitional process with ourselves into the first team. A shame the fans haven't seen him play enough, But in terms of, like I say, that financial reward for the football club, we have to be a selling club, and when the figures are right, we have to move in relation to that. So we thank Wolves for being respectful, and we congratulate Alfie on that move.
Of course, Alfie's played in the Premier League Cup last season against Wolves as well, so he's going, and I think he'll go straight into that under 21 setup. So he's not going to be out of place because he'll have played with these players before, played against these players before. Yeah,
I actually think there's scope for him to go back out on loan. So they might, Wolves might well look at the option of a loan back to National League level. It could be back to Yeovil. It could be a League Two level. All of a sudden, with no disrespect to academy football at 21s, 23s, or even B team football, we felt Alfie bypassed that and almost progressed past that, hence why we'd loaned into a National League, Premier League team. Not many 18-year-olds go and play in the National League, Premier League at the Premier level. A lot go to National League North and South, hence our history and experience of those levels. But to get him in the National League Prem was certainly fantastic for ourselves, and it only took him 2 games at that level to impress the powers that be to make this move happen. So we still want him to play senior football. Now he'll have to get to grips with what Wolves want in terms of their structure and their pathway for himself, but there's no better pathway for a young centre-half than playing men's football, and he's learned so much in the last couple of weeks playing those 2 games for Yeovil. Hopefully that continues in terms of his development. I can guarantee that will get him closer and closer to the first team. We might well see him out on loan at different levels in the future, and you never know, because we're talking about Jay Stansfield's situation. We might well see Alfie Pond come back to us at some stage.
Of course, we'll all be keeping an eye on his progress from afar. So the transfer window has come to an end. I know you've been working tirelessly all summer to try and get your targets in. How would you assess the last few months?
Well, in terms of the general group, I'm pleased with where we are. I think we've done the best business we could possibly obtain. We're pleased with our goalkeeper. Hopefully our fans understand that. As much as they had all the questions up until the point he signed, we had to wait for that profile. Really pleased to bring Rakeem to the football club. He will improve and add to that midfield group and give us another aspect of our game control in possession. Keggs we knew was a development loan, and we're thankful and grateful to Southampton for allowing that to happen, and then the player and the Southampton and ourselves understand what that loan looks like. And then top end of the pitch, we've got the balance we've been looking for. We have missed out on other signings, but Jay's been the one who we targeted a long time ago. We've just had to be so patient, and I wish that I could have given more updates and information to everyone who needed to know, not to stop the questions, but to put everyone at ease. We've been expecting this one to happen. We'd have loved it at the start of the season. We'd have loved it before pre-season, before the first league game. As it happens, it went down right to the wire, but that was waiting on other things to happen elsewhere, and sometimes that's out of your control. But delighted to have that he's joined us and he's where we want him to be. And then Harry coming in as that profile, which we've been looking for a long period of time, and it complements that forward line. We've got a little bit of everything at the top end of the pitch now, and now, like I said, it's down to myself, my coaching staff and the rest of the group to provide the right service and put out a functional football team. We've been competitive at League One level so far, and I expect us to continue to be like that. There's still the option for free transfers. There are still players out there. If I could have had everything I could have wanted in terms of the squad, we still want more balance and more options on the outside of the pitch, whether in the full back or wing back or winger role. But there are free agents out there. We have to be mindful of budgets and the financial restraints, and something we spoke long and hard about throughout this recruitment window. But in terms of what we can achieve at Exeter City, I'm absolutely delighted with the group of players we've brought in.
You've given us an overview of the incomings, the outgoings, and the summer as a whole. But one person we've not spoken about is Marcus. We say his name a lot, but we don't really talk about how much impact he's had on this whole summer.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, I suppose. Someone who's thought of so highly at this football club. Someone who's moved into a role of head of recruitment alongside his analysis work. An incredible human being, first and foremost. An incredible friend, first and foremost. He's worked tirelessly, as much as I do a lot of work. He goes above and beyond, and he has provided ourselves with the opportunity to bring these players to this football club, but also been heavily involved in the the sale of Alfie Pond and the loan move of Josh Coley. So he's been involved in every single aspect of recruitment in and out for this football club for a long period of time now, and the rewards we've got right now, Saturday on Friday morning going into the league game tomorrow, are hugely down to Marcus Flitcroft and the work he's done and the way he's conducted himself. His network now is absolutely incredible in terms of the footballing world, and we've got a fantastic reputation as a football club in terms of what we've done in the past in developing players and producing good players and selling players on while still getting success on the football pitch. And he's added to that and enhanced it, and certainly used that to utilise our strength in every single market. So we're very grateful to have him at the football club, and we're grateful to the work he's been doing over the last couple of months.
You get to answer your story?
Yeah, well,
I say there's a story here, I'm told.
Yes, I suppose. How do I best describe it? So obviously himself and Andy Gillard, we got to mention Andy Gillard as well, the club secretary, who was here till 11:30 last night. And driving home last night, Marcus, look, he's an honest lad. I know he was worn out, I know he was tired. I don't think he was hallucinating. He saw a wallaby on the road on the way home. Now he lives just outside Wellington, so whatever the road was, he said there was other cars stopped to assess this animal. I just hope he's not gone stir crazy on the back of the transfer window. But he has since Googled the fact that there are wallabies in the UK. Obviously they've escaped from, I don't know, from zoos or sanctuaries, I honestly don't know. And one has found itself in Marcus's path on the way home at the end of a transfer window. So for him to describe that this morning, but a little bit of humour to what's been a difficult few weeks, obviously not in my absence, but I've been here, there and everywhere. I spent most of yesterday afternoon and yesterday evening at the hospital with obviously my wife and child, and Marcus has really been the strength of the club in recent times, and bringing those players in was incredible, and he's been rewarded with probably a once in a lifetime sighting of what we believe is a wallaby. I'm not sure it'll make the national news. It might make the local news, and I'm sure there might be some, I don't know what the word is, because if you're going to look for exotic birds or red birds, you're a twitcher. I don't know what the saying would be for people who go and try and look for marsupials in the English countryside. But I asked him for video evidence, or for him to take a photo. Unfortunately, his phone had no battery left from all the business he'd been doing.
Imagine they just call him a wally, wouldn't they?
They probably would. That's a terrible thing.
Is he giving you a scouting report? Is the wallaby worth a week's trial?
Look, he said he watched it, and then he got home and was excited and told his partner. But I don't know how it would work with international clearance, because I think I'm right in saying they're Australian anyway, aren't they? How it's made its way to just outside Taunton, I will never know.
Oh, that might be the most ridiculous interview I've ever done.